welcome back to another episode of Sit and Spin with me, your host, Joe Royland. Unshaven this week. I'm on vacation, been super busy, trying to get stuff done around the house, things that have been piling up. Baby coming on the way, I gotta get some of that stuff taken care of. Today I did 5 hours of yard work, and I'm a little punchy. I'm wiped out, and I'm also cranked up on painkillers right now. I can barely move my arms and stuff, so this should be an entertaining show, if nothing else. Today, if the background music hadn't tipped you off, we're going to be talking about the new documentary R.E.M. by MTV, newly released this past week. R.E.M., of course, the Athens, Georgia foursome comprised of vocalist Michael Stipe, guitarist Peter Buck, bassist vocalist Mike Mills, and drummer Bill Berry, who formed in 1980, but released their first single in 1981, just weeks before the MTV network aired its first video. And as such, since they kind of came up together, MTV documented everything about the band during their time together from their very start all the way to their split in 2011. And culled from all of those interviews and appearances on MTV and concerts that they did for MTV, they put together this awesome documentary that unfolds in real time, kind of just as it happened. This doc first aired last year on MTV back in November. I didn't get to see it when it aired because I don't have cable anymore. And was shortly after, in December, released as part of a 6-disc DVD box set similarly titled R.E.M. by MTV. But I didn't feel the need to buy that, A, because mostly it's all like live concert footage, and I already own like 2 or 3 R.E.M. concerts I really don't need to own anymore. So I held out and waited for the imminent solo release of just the documentary, which just came out this past week, and also the first time available on Blu-ray. It does feature, aside from the excellent documentary on the band, it has some bonus performance clips from those live concerts, as well as a bunch of deleted scenes, and just other great stuff. Really, really cool documentary the way it's put together. Really enjoyed it quite a bit. If you're a fan of the band, definitely something you want to check out. Myself, I've kind of run from being like really interested in R.E.M. to being kind of like, yeah, okay. When they first came out, I wasn't really that into them until actually I saw them do this song, South Central Rain, on David Letterman's show before the album was even out, and went, hey, maybe I do like these guys after all, and then became kind of a fan of the band, and over the years would run back and forth between being like, I'm really into them and I really liked R.E.M. to being like, especially the last decade or so, being just kind of like, oh, they got a new album out? Okay. But except for the last 2 records. Their last 2 records were fabulous and collapsed into now. Their last album in 2011 was a solid record. So I'm glad that they went out, if not on a high, at least on a solid record to go out on. And it's kind of a cool little wrap-up to have this documentary out now on the band. Like a lot of bands from that time period, U2 and stuff, that I want to stop short of saying that the band became irrelevant. They just weren't quite the driving force that they had been, especially back in the early 80s. And one of the things about this doc that reminded me of like how great they were, especially back then, and just how cool they were and how great and original like the songs were. But just really, really cool stuff. Interesting subjects and conversation from Michael Stipe, who shares a birthday with me, by the way. Another reason why I kind of been a fan of him. And Peter Buck, man, I could listen to that guy talk for hours. Interesting things to say from Peter Buck. And Bill Berry's just a really genuine guy. Mike Mills, just great stories from them. So definitely, if you're a fan, even if you're not, you might want to check it out anyway. R.E.M. by MTV, new documentary out now. And that is the show for this week. Tune in next week to find out what we're going to hit you up with then. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but hopefully you are also catching my friend Scott over at Righteous Vinyl, as well as the Riff of the Day guys, and some of all the podcasts. I talk about and feature a lot of podcasts. Hopefully you're checking those people out. Dig Me Out podcast, Decibel Geek podcast. If you're a music fan, these are some cool podcasts you should just be checking out. I might do a show on podcasts, and some of my favorite ones coming up. Who knows? That's a good idea. But as I told you, punchy, and I'm going to cut it off now before I ramble too much further. And we will see you next time on Sit and Spin. Catch you then.